Cool. All right. Well, now we're recording, so I'm going to do the intro now. All right. Hey, Nichelle, it's Ron. I know last week we did a basic introduction to each other about our homebuyer seminar that's coming up May 31st. So, what I think would be really cool for our audience is to get to know us a little bit better individually. So, would you take a second to introduce yourself, give us a little backstory of who you are and what got you in the business, and maybe a success or something that drives you to continue being the real estate professional you are?
Hey, Ron, thank you for the opportunity. And yes, we did do a slight introduction to ourselves. So about me, we always have a conversation is what is your why in real estate, right? So my name is Nichelle Boylan. I'm with Central 21 Judge Fight. I've been with them for about a year or two now. And I joined them and decided to partner with them because they are notoriously known for their education, for their community involvement, and they've been in business for over 90 years, and they're all about developing and feeding into their people so that their people feed into the community. And that was essential for me.
Yeah.
The reason it was essential for me was about 2.5, 3 years ago. I was looking at purchasing my first home. And I met with a lender. That lender referred me to a realtor. Me and that realtor worked together. And we worked together for about 3 or 4 months. But it became extremely painfully awareness to me that she was not connected to what I wanted. And what do I mean by that? I went to a home that she suggested that I tour, and I asked her about that home, and the only thing she could tell me was she didn't know the area it was in. She didn't know how long it had been built. She couldn't tell me any about the amenities of the home. And I left that situation feeling very disillusioned because the whole point of reaching out to someone like a realtor, someone that I considered to be a subject matter expert, was I was leaning into them for the knowledge I didn't have. Just like I had leaned into Judge Fight when I first joined for the knowledge I didn't have, right?
Right.
Because it's all about the partnership. Um, and so I thought about it. And then the next day I got online and I do what most of us do. I went to realtor.com and I started to search other realtors and I was reading them. And I read this one and it was just her profile. I really liked her profile. So I reached out to her and I was like, hey, gave her the whole spiel. I'm pre-qualified. I've got a pre-approval. Will you work with me? And she did something that threw me for a curve. She goes, before I can work with you, I have to have a buyer strategy session because I need to see if it even makes sense for you and I to work together. And that immediately kind of like took me aback, not in a bad way. I was impressed because I was like, she's got her stuff together.
Yeah.
And so she gave me some times and we met and we sat down and we talked. Long story short, a couple of months in, we are under contract for a home. And the very first home that we looked at, we both looked at, she points out foundation issues. She gives me the backstory about the house and what I can expect. And she does this for each and every home. And I was like, that's what I want to be. Um, that's what I want to do. I want to be that gap. I want to be that source of knowledge, that source of truth. And if I don't know it, I'll find it. And what do I mean? So the house that I was buying had solar panels. And
Mhm.
for many of you don't know, solar panels are the vein of existence for most people in real estate, especially lenders and appraisals, because they don't always appraise, but that's a whole nother conversation I later learned.
Right.
Um, what you also don't know is that there's this agreement you have to give with Encore if you want to buy back the electricity. And I didn't know how to find this form. I had never owned a home. I didn't even know it exists. She didn't know. And she said, hey, I don't know, but I got a source.
That's
And
awesome.
so she reaches out to someone that she goes to church with that happens to work for Encore, who gives me the delivery form that I has to sign before I move into the house. And I was like, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's the source. That's what I want to be. And so this
Yeah.
home buyer program is kind of like my way of paying that back. It's helping people who know they have an end goal but they don't understand the steps they take to get there. And so I partner with individuals like yourself, Ron, to get us from point A to point B. And that's kind of why I'm doing what I do. Thank you for asking.
It's awesome. Yeah. And I know like that being that way, that person to help reduce the stress, because buying a home is in the top five most stressful things a person does. Most people only do it 2 to 3 times their entire life. So having a trusted partner like you that they can lean on and learn from is huge, and walk them through what to expect, because a lot of us, we don't know what we don't know. And so when we get into a situation, it can increase anxiety, put us in almost into a fight or flight state. So then our cognitive ability can come down and we feel embarrassed. But that's where I like to empower people so that they don't feel bad about being intimidated about this process, but have a place that they can come to and be validated in those concerns, but then walk through a step-by-step process of what to expect, when to expect it, so that they can feel comfortable and confident in their decision to invest in real estate. Because whether they're renting a one-bedroom apartment or they're looking to buy their $2 million, $5 million house, they all deserve the same exact experience where they are guided through the process, make sure that their goals are going to be achieved, because people ask about what's your end state goal? How many properties do you want to own? So these are the things, and why I like partnering with people like you, because you care about educating clients just as much as you do about helping them close on their property. And it's one of my passions, because I've been in this business, like I'm Ron Toy with Meridian Mortgage. I've been in this business 10 years. And I've helped about 2,000 families with their home investment journey. And I've seen the situations where if a realtor did a great job up front, or if they didn't do a great job, if a lender didn't do a great job, and we're fighting some of their preconceived understandings about the market, the social media influences, and what they need to focus on, what they don't need to focus on. And what I like to do and why I'm passionate about this is the education piece, because I'm not the finger gun sales guy. I'm an operations person. And so I like to walk them through the guidelines, the processes, and what to expect during that entire thing. And part of it is why that means so much to me is I know what it's like to not have a home. When I was 18, 19, just graduated high school, I thought I knew everything, and I was actually homeless for a while. It was insane. And that, like, it's crazy that I look back on this time and I can laugh about it, but having to time the dumpster, and I was in Massachusetts in October, it was freezing, having to time the dumpsters like with Dunkin' Donuts throwing out their donuts so I'd have food at night, 2, 3 in the morning. It was devastating, but also humbling. And I never want anyone to feel that just heaviness of vulnerability and not having stability in a home. And that's why I always talk about being successful in home ownership, not maxing out your budget, to know what to expect, like escrow accounts adjusting every year. So my passion comes from a place of understanding in a different dimension, to where I want to make sure people who might have some credit issues or have been through events in their life, they feel safe to share and safe to go through the process, whether it takes 1 week, 30 days, 3 years. Like, I'm here to serve you every step of the way. That's why I'm excited about this home buyer seminar, because whether they bought a house before or not, it's the guidelines change and they get updated. The markets change. So I want everybody to feel like they should come and attend and just be a part of the audience and share feedback and stay connected with us, because whether they've bought before, they haven't bought, they're in a process of buying. Like I said, most people do it 2 or 3 times. So why not be empowered to make your next decision to make sure it aligns with your current and long-term financial goals? That's my thoughts.
I like it. And I think you hit on a nail. You said something that is key here, and that is people think the home buyer program, they're like, I don't think I need to go to it because I'm not ready.
Mhm.
But you know the point there, and you said something that I liked, and you go, whether it's 30 days, 3 months, or 3 years from now.
Yeah.
And the best time to plan isn't 3 years from now. If you're wanting
Right.
to do it, it's today, right?
Yes.
And
Yep.
so that's why it's important that you consider, even if that's a goal, come join us, come out and
Yes.
see us.
Absolutely, because we might be able to get it done faster, and that's the part where, oh, I don't have enough money saved. Well, let's talk about down payment and closing cost assistance programs. My credit's not where it is. Well, I have a top score program to help you get your scores to where they need to be to qualify. So a lot of people prejudge their situation and think it's going to be 1, 2, 3, however long it's going to be, without ever talking to a professional, because they might be intimidated. And that's what this homebuyer seminar is going to be about, is breaking down some of those boundaries so they feel comfortable and confident in learning from an environment that's there to add value to them and not make them feel pressured to make a decision that day. It's just education. It's just free information. And ask questions, learn, and network with other people that are homebuyers in the area, and learn from them and see what they're going through, and maybe make some new friends.
I like it. And I don't know if we can say this yet, but for those that are attending, are we able to tell them about a plan we have for all attendees that come and work with us in the future, or do we have to hold that?
I think we should hold it a little bit and just
Okay.
let them come back for more
Okay.
info on that. But as a little teaser, she's giving you a hint. So stay tuned and you're going to learn a little bit of something in the future.
I'll try and hold water, as my mom used to say.
Yeah, yep, me too, because I usually can't. So they'll probably be able to get it out of me with like 3 to 4 comments in the video. So
No, but it's going to be a good event. And I'm
absolutely.
so excited to have a partner like you, Ron, who won, because you even talked about your Top Score program. And I have a friend of mine, a client of mine, who thought she was 2 or 3 years away, right?
Yep.
And you guys sat down and spoke, and she's literally 4 points away.
Yep.
And that's 4 points that we can get turned around in 30 to 60 days from 2 to 3 years down the line. And that's just
Yes.
proof it's in the pudding kind of conversation.
Yep. I'm excited. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
Perfect. Well, I appreciate your time today, and we'll do this again soon.
sounds good. Thank you, Ron.
You're welcome.